welcome back to Drive for Wishes. Apologies for that slight interruption, but we are back on Splits 1 once again. And yes, we are now an hour and 47 minutes into the race. Once again, I am Charles, as I will now be known forever, I think. Ron, do you remember your name?
Louis Mons.
There you go, Louis Mons.
It's a strange combination of both French and German names. I'm not sure. I'm, again, not a linguist here. I can barely speak the English language, but I think there's some kind of violation of natural law there with the contrast in names.
I think so. Although Mons isn't, that could be a French name. If I saw that from a French person, I think, yeah, checks out. Here is Effect Simulations 909. They are now 30 seconds ahead of the rest, well, 21 seconds ahead of the rest. They were already leading. It was Andrew Dawson who actually started the race for Effect. They were then taken over by Paul Busby, who now leads in second place. And in fact, really, the order is very similar to what we saw earlier on. Looks like Geeks Energy have moved up to 4th position. They were 5th before. It seemed like there'd been an issue for Satellite. Satellite Racing for Wishes. They've now dropped down to 7th place. So that they haven't had a good time, have Satellite. They now are in 7th place. And still BMW Propaganda in 6th place. So that's the standings in the GTPs. In the GTDs, Lease Esports have just been phenomenal so far tonight. They've still got to do an extra pit stop compared to everyone else, I believe, but they are currently half a lap clear, and I think when Guillaume Levesque comes into the pits, Lease Esports will still be leading the way. So it's a dominant showing so far in our GTD class.
The line astern right now, so not a whole lot changing here, but there's definitely going to be some changes here in the not too distant future. I can imagine the full course yellow in Split 1 will be coming in the not too distant future, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I'm sure the driver currently running in second for Racing, currently 21 seconds behind Effect Simulations 909, is probably looking forward to that full course yellow, as is basically the entirety of the GT3 field, because I'm sure they want to be involved in that fight somehow, even though the other drivers currently running in first in that Mercedes have not pitted. That's still a fairly sizable gap, all things considered. So I think these drivers are looking forward to that full course yellow. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of shuffling up coming in the next hour.
And of course, congratulations, we have reached $15,000 of money raised. Amazing stuff. Before today, I think we were only on like 11, weren't we? And yet in this race we have raised thousands of dollars. Amazing work, everyone. There is a new goal now, 17,000, and frankly that seems very realistic right now. It is an incredible event, this, and we do occasionally have these on sim racing, but I've never seen anything quite like this. So congratulations everyone for the fantastic generosity that everyone has had.
It's incredible, really, the teamwork that's been shown here in the sim racing community to raise so much money for such a good cause. And I've said this multiple times throughout this broadcast already. Hopefully there's a start of something new, something beautiful in the world of sim racing. Fingers crossed that we'll be able to bring you Drive for Wishes in 2024 as well.
Into the pits comes Guillaume Levesque. He's miles ahead. Miles ahead. 1 minute 51. This pit stop will only lose him about a minute, I think. So he's going to be way clear. Way clear. Might get out of the car at Levesque. He's got Matthew Luke for Fury Simsport 142. You may have seen on the timing tower just a moment ago that Luke and Kenny got quite close. Apologies, it was Kenny for the 169 car. They just got out of the pits, and the 142 car narrowly managed to overtake them. Also got Bice Baby, who remember started last in this race. They are up to 4th position and chasing these guys now. So whilst Lease Esports look very dominant, and Antoine Lacharat has got into that car now, second down to 4th are barely anything between.
very close action right now, but as you said, Tyson there with Bice Bice Baby, he has put together a very good drive in that Ferrari right now, currently running in P4, and even though it's pretty spread out right now, I think he is in with a very good shot of getting a podium as long as he can keep that Ferrari clean. There's still a lot to play for here. We're just short of the 2-hour mark in this race, coming up on only a quarter of the way into this race here, so there's still a lot of action here on Make-A-Wish International, and we also have this being simulcasted on Twitch as well. So there's still plenty to play for here in this race. I'm sure the order that you see on the left-hand side of your screen is going to be totally different by the time we approach the white flag and the checkered flag to cap off this event.
Another shout out to SIMAGIC, who have very generously put forward a couple of their best products to auction off between now and Wednesday, and whoever places the highest bid get the products basically. But all the money goes to this event for trying for wishes, and yes, you can go check that out at tiltify.com. And yeah, if you search Make a Wish, then you should be able to see the SIMAGIC auction on there for their couple of prizes. I had a look at it earlier on, and so far one of them is up for $400 and one is up for $710. That's an Alpha Ultimate wheelbase, that's for $700, and the FX Pro Formula steering wheel, that's at $405 at the moment, but still got a couple more days for you to submit your bids on that. So yeah, do check out tiltify.com and the yeah, Drive for Wishes SIMAGIC auction to make your bids for that.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing to purchase. There's a lot of stuff that's been given away, a lot of stuff up for auction, and it's been a nice event to just rejoin all the world of sim racing and unite them. Even though I think I said this at the start of the broadcast, even though the sim racing world may seem divided at times, it's nice to have events like this where the whole world can be united regardless of what disciplines you have. Meanwhile, I think the Mercedes in the back of shot would like to be reunited with a front bumper. I could see that as they went out of the final chicane there. We've got some action here between two Ferraris. Bice Bice Baby and Tyson is going very close there to the Fury Sim Sport 169 up ahead there, so they're very close as they enter the second chicane there, but not close enough to get a move done. I think Tyson right now might be trying to save up his stuff a little bit and possibly go for a move here, maybe into Mulsanne, maybe this lap. We'll just have to see. So right now we've got some good action all throughout this field, and right now the other driver that was running in P7 as Satellite Racing for Wishes team is in the pits. I believe that might be a scheduled pit stop, or they must have had some kind of issue. I think it might just be a scheduled pit stop,
yeah.
But right now that's a very off-cycle pit stop because a lot of these drivers have already gotten their pit stops out of the way fairly soon. But if I say that, if I remember correctly, they might have pitted fairly early on that first stint, so I think this just might be a regular, normal pit stop for them.
Yeah, well, I think it was 41 minutes the drivers went in the first stint, so like a scheduled one would probably be at about the 2:05 mark in about 10 minutes time. So they're a bit short of that, but not hugely short. And if it's a case that actually they're going to be 10 minutes, the other drivers are going to be 10 minutes short anyway, it might mean that Satellite Racing Crew just don't have to make an extra pit stop. So that sort of makes sense there. Just going a bit shorter in these first couple of sets. Really do like these Fury liveries. I mean, I don't mind the Bice Bice Baby one, albeit I don't see I mean, I don't know if it should have a race. I'm not entirely sure. Is that ice on it? It looks a bit snowy, that livery. I'm not exactly sure what it's showing. It's more like a camouflage livery.
Yeah, I think that's snow camo. I think that could be the correct technical term. Oh, that's a big slide there. Oh boy, that is a very lucky escape there for the Fury Sim Sport number 142, but he has lost 2 positions there with that massive slide entering the Porsche curves. He is lucky to keep it out of the barriers, but loses 2 positions there. This battle that was 2 cars has now become 3 cars, but I'm sure the Fury Sim Sport number 142 team there is going to have to take a little bit of time to recoup, and actually I say that, it looks like they're trying to eye up a move to move back into the podium spots, but that was a massive moment there, create a nice smoke screen there entering the Porsche curve, so massive moment there for the Fury Sim Sport team.
And Samsoid has got into the car. He's running in 9th position at the moment. However, he might lose a position to Evan Pickle. Whispered in my ear that Evan's good. Pickles is good. So yeah, he moves past. Yeah, 5.7k iRating. Samson's slightly higher iRating, but right now at least it looks like Evan's got better pace.
Yeah, there's a lot of things left to play in this race. You've got driver changes coming up, and we also have a broadcaster change, I believe. My old friend Aaron Smith, we used to do the Radical broadcast many, many moons ago, I believe has actually come in to relieve you, Sam. So you might be able to take a whiz here in the next few moments.
Yeah, well, how are you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing absolutely splendid. I definitely didn't stay up to watch the Las Vegas Grand Prix last night, so I'm not sleep deprived at all.
Go through that again. You stayed up. Do you mean you woke up early, or do you mean you just slept through?
No, I stayed up until 6 a.m. and then slept.
Okay.
I know.
I mean...
Yeah, I could have handled that a lot better. I could have handled that a lot better, let me not lie. But it was a good race. I don't know if anyone has watched it yet, but I have no regrets, and I'm a Ferrari fan, so...
I was a normal person. I watched it at 10 o'clock on the repeat, so I was very happy with that. I've had sleep, and I've watched the Formula 1, which is a combination that no other person in this comp speed has got. Aaron, are you in the session at the moment?
I am in the session. I'm watching many GT3 cars go into battle right now, and this is the good thing I like about Le Mans is we saw it in real life earlier this year. The fact that you can be many hours into a race and you'll probably have a battle still going on somewhere, and I think that's why Le Mans is just such a good track for racing. I guess in the GTPs it's maybe a bit of a bigger difference, but in GT3s on the other hand, it's you get battling like this all the time. And yeah, we had battles on the last lap, I think, in real life last year between the Corvette and I think it was one of the Ferraris or the Aston Martins. And yeah, that's just the amazing type of racing that you get here. And I believe we did it in IMSA this season, and I can't remember if we did it for ARL as well. I don't know if we took a week off for that, but yeah, David was commentating for that race, and now he's driving in it. So yeah, it's lovely to see all of these drivers competing at this kind of level, and obviously for such a good cause, and it just brings the entire community together. Like you were just saying, Ron, it really is such a nice thing that people in iRacing can come together and to produce something as good as this.
Amen. I'll drink to that, even though I don't have any alcoholic beverages next to me.
Well, I will leave you guys to it. Everyone's in safe hands, and well, I'll speak to you later on, Aaron. And Ron, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, Charles, and thank you so much for joining us. And I, as Louis, will see myself at. Aaron, we have a lot to fill you in on the stuff that we've gone up to
so
on the broadcast so
say,
far.
Aaron, opinions on Dauphinois?
On what now?
Okay, he's another one of you guys. The one cultured person here is leaving. Goodbye.
No, we're losing our insight on French potato and cream dishes. What?
How do you spell it?
I don't know how to spell it. I asked Sam earlier how to spell Dauphinois. At first when he said Dauphinois, I thought it was like some kind of dolphin dish. Like I was completely confused. So then that developed into a multifaceted conversation about French cuisine, which crescendoed into a Google review of a French cuisine, French culinary place outside of Philadelphia, the closest one to my house, because they're like, yeah, you should try it. I'm like, I can't get French food delivered like during a broadcast. It's a half an hour away. It being DoorDash or Uber Eats or something like that, it would take me like 4.5 hours to get my food. So eventually developed into him now being called Charles Fitzpatrick, and me now going under the pseudonym Louis Mons. So Aaron, what do you think your French name is going to be for this broadcast?
Oh god, it's even worse because I have French people in my family. Oh no. I'm gonna say Pierre. That's gonna be my French name, I think, because my uncle's name is Pierre, so I think that's gonna be Pierre Smith. The Smith just doesn't work. Smith is not a very French last name. It just doesn't work.
It's very Anglo-Saxon. It's not a very French name, but I was saying that it was like a violation of natural law being called Louis Mons to have the French first name and then the German Americanized last name, but no matter. So welcome everybody tuning into this broadcast on Make-A-Wish International on YouTube or Make-A-Wish International on Twitch. I am Louis Mons, joined by Pierre Smith, and this is the 2023 Drive for Wishes charity event supporting Make-A-Wish, and we've already driven up quite a lot of support. We've already broken multiple goals right now, have raised over $15,000 for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's been some fantastic stuff to see the sim racing community unite and raise some money for a very good cause. And we've also had some great racing throughout. We're following Split 1 right now of this series, and for those looking to see some action from Split 2 and Split 3, stay tuned. Here in the not too distant future, we'll definitely have to go back to Split 3. I believe they might be still under full course caution, if I'm not mistaken. I am not too sure what's going on there, but right now we're following the Split 1 action right now, and right now there's not a whole lot of action going on in the field right now. Over 2 hours into this affair here, 8 hours long in total, so there's still plenty to play for here in this race. We've got a battle up towards the front of the GT3 order, and then we've also got some action farther behind in the GT3, so we've got plenty in store here regardless of where you're watching this from. And yeah, just I don't really have much else to say.
Okay, just going back to the conversation we were having 5 minutes ago about Dauphinois, because I've never heard of it. You know how you can speak to Siri? Oh, the leader's come into the pits. I believe that is Paul Busby, a man I've raced a lot of against this season, and well, he's an absolute weapon here at Le Mans. He's super, super quick here. I think he did something like 50 odd races here, something ridiculous like that. He loves this track, and well, he's proving it out there right now. He's setting some really, really good lap times, and has got a pretty decent gap to the rest of the GTP field, and this seems to be his absolute bread and butter. A little bit of a lock up there into Arnage for one of the GTPs. One of the more difficult corners on this track. It's such an easy corner to lock a front breakthrough there, and we're going to get the Porsche of Dan Suzuki trying to get a run through the Porsche curves here, but that Porsche, as we've known this season, doesn't have the best straight line speed, and well, the Cadillac is the exact opposite. It has too much straight line speed, so not going to be too much going on there as Dan just tries to stay as close as he can to the driver in front, which is Ellie Singh, the American driver, number 35, and that Cadillac is, well, absolutely ridiculous around Le Mans. It was, I think, nearly a second faster than the Porsche in Imster just a couple of weeks ago, so that's kind of been the same story this entire, well, season for Imster. The Cadillac's just been just too OP, and let's hope the BOP is a little bit better next season as your race leader comes back out onto the racetrack. Paul Busby is now back out there racing again. But now, going back to Dauphinois, you know how you can say something into Siri? Oh, Dauphinois keeps getting interrupted. Dan Suzuki trying to go for a move. That would be an absolutely amazing move. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there through turn 4, but manages to stay ahead. And well, he's absolutely ragging that Porsche and moves himself up into 20th place. And well, if he can make this stick, he's got a little bit of help from the GT3s in front, which, well, he's in the Porsche, he's going to need it. And he's just edging ahead a little bit now, and I think he's going to make this stick. And yeah, that was a really good overtake as the driver behind of Ellie Singh tries to get the slipstream from the GT3s, but yeah, just had to pull out as late as he can. And Dan Suzuki just pulling away a little bit there through the first chicane down the Mulsanne straight and doing a little bit of weaving to try and stay in front. But one last time, going back to Dauphinois, you know how you can speak to Siri, Ron, right? And you can
Yes.
you can say, like, if you don't know how to spell something, you just say it to Siri. I tried to say Dauphinois to Siri, and it thought I literally said dolphin war. Not sure if that's a me problem, but I've definitely heard of it before. But if I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've ever eaten it. So Sam, or should I say Charles?
Yeah.
He's
Charles Fitzpatrick.
he- he's a lot more cultured than we are when it comes to cuisine. Well, I mean, I'm quite a picky eater. I've got a bacon sandwich right next to me, which I haven't eaten anything all day, so I'm well prepared for the next few hours. I don't know what kind of food you've got stocked up, Ron, but I hope it's going to be something appetizing at least.
All I've eaten today is I think I had a glass of a cup of chocolate milk early on for breakfast and a cream cheese bagel. That's all I've had today. So I'm basically starving at this rate for someone of my stature, 6'2", 240, having about 400 calories in you, with not some very good sleep. I mean, I can't really judge. You did not have the best night's sleep in the world. Actually, no. You got to wake. I was gonna say most people in the UK got to wake up to Formula One. You were falling asleep to Formula One, and I woke up to Formula One as well, which is a bit concerning for me on the East Coast of the U.S. because I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I'm not really running. I'm running on a lean mixture right now. We're seeing some battling here in the GTP order. You can see the Team PGZ 114 car getting the move done on the York Sports Racing entry, currently battling for P8 and P9 respectively. But getting back to the food discussion, I think I have what started this whole potato discussion. There is a team in, I believe, Split 2 that, if I remember correctly, was Potato Racing Russet. That was the name of the team. And ever since then, it's snowballed into a wonderful discussion about potatoes. And it's snowballed into me reading a Google review and Sam trying to carry on the broadcast professionally and me just head in hands right next to the mic, laughing hysterically to the point of nearly peeing myself. But I think before I get into that rabbit hole, which is a rabbit hole that we should probably not be exploring on this broadcast, we've got some battling here for the final podium spot in GTP. This is the Geeks Energy X Fiercely Forward Black team, currently running in P3, battling with the Hydro Race team. They go side by side coming into the first chicane. That's a dive and a half. They're coming into turn one, but it works there for the Hydro Race team. They move up into the final podium spot. That is incredibly close there, and that was a nice move at lap traffic involved with the GT3 cars acting as a little bit of a pick in that fight, especially as they exited out of the final chicane. But that was a beautiful move there for the Hydro Race team to move up into P3.
You really don't see that many moves into turn one apart from lap one here at Le Mans, because, well, the run out of the final few corners, it's so difficult to get close to the car in front, and the slipstream down the main straight isn't really that powerful. And then the braking into turn one, technically turn two, is one of the more difficult on this track as well, along with Arnage, as there's like a slight bump on the inside. I think it's on the middle of the curve onto the right. And if you brake too hard onto that bump, yeah, you're gone. I did it in IMSA, I think a couple times, and you're just going straight on at turn one. And yeah, it's not fun. It really isn't. And that's why going for a send into turn one is very, very brave, especially on the inside. If you go over that curb wrong, it's either a slowdown, an off track, or it will send you round. So very, very brave move there from Graham Sanders. Up into third place, and he's created a bit of a gap behind, so I think he had the confidence that he was the faster driver, and has just pulled a little bit of a gap on the Geeks Energy driver. As Team PGZ got past the York Sport Racing team, but hasn't really been able to make too much ground, unfortunately, over this last lap. They're still fairly close, and I think while he was trying to overtake on that last lap, he was trying to save that little bit of fuel while he was doing it as well. Just waited until the Mulsanne corner to try and get past. It's probably the best chance you're going to get into these chicanes. It's a little bit terrifying going side by side. It can end really, really badly as you're both trying to brake as late as possible, and it's even worse if you've got traffic in the mix. And well, we haven't got rain in iRacing yet, but those who've been following the news, it could be imminent within the next few months. And when rain does get added, I'm terrified for officials, really.
Yeah. Terrified for officials and terrified for all iRacers graphics cards. They're going to be feeling the burn whenever rain gets implemented. When you're mentioning rain not involved, I was just saying yet. I was just slowly repeating that into my own head. But while the action has cooled off on track, I want to get back to the food discussion because as we mentioned that, I got a text message from my dad asking if he wanted me if I wanted him to get me a sandwich after I'm done with this broadcast in about 2.5 hours time. But I had to remind him that I have another broadcast to do after this on Apex. But I asked him for some raisins, and he has delivered those. Hello, Father. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Dad. A pack of sun-made California sun-dried raisins. This was purchased at a local store of mine for $3.49. That's
Three?
beautiful. Yeah. Well, it's Philadelphia. Everything is overly expensive. It's 6 packs, so it's 6 1-ounce boxes of raisins. So if it was if it was 1 box of raisins, and I was paying $3, I would feel ripped off. Yeah, I'm getting scammed. My money is going towards a Nigerian prince who has $35 million holed up in a hotel room that he needs to give away. So, right now, as I try and navigate this this box of raisins here, we've got some GTP action here developing with some Cadillacs here. Matt York, we're riding on board with him right now. He is currently running in 9th, trying to catch up to the Team PGZ114 driver up ahead, but we've got, I believe that's Ken Copeland there on the outside. That's going to act as a bit of a pick here. Ooh, the number 56 there, the Mercedes GT3 car getting involved in that fight and holding him up quite badly, so that battle has cooled off quite pretty much immediately after it started.
Yeah, not ideal there. Traffic, especially in those first few corners, is really terrible. Like really terrible. And well, as a GTP driver myself, GT3s are my least favorite thing in the entire world. So yeah, we just gotta navigate those guys, and you gotta pray that you get them on the Mulsanne straight and the Mulsanne straight only, because if you don't, you will be screaming at them either in your head or loudly on the microphone. It's a Mercedes car there, just weaving on the main straight, I guess trying to get some temperature into his tyres. He did look like he was sliding a bit, but the 2 BMWs behind him trying to go at it as they swap positions. The ARZ Motorsport car getting past the Hyperion Racing. And like a fairly textbook move there, not really too much fighting between those two. But yeah, I was going to say $3.40, did you say, for raisins? Even for a box of 6, that's a bit mad. I'm not going to lie. I could probably get a box of raisins for about £2, maybe. I don't know what the conversion rate is into dollars, but yeah.
Ooh, that's a very good question. Let me look that up right now. We've gone down a bad rabbit hole here. We are trying to figure out if it's
We've got
extortion to pay for $3.50 for a box of raisins, as there's some near contact there with this GTP battle there. 2 Cadillacs nearly coming to blows, coming through the first chicane there, and they're continuing to go side by side in this short little flat-out blast between the 2 chicanes on the Mulsanne straightaway. We've got the Cadillacs there. We've got the overhead view as they're about to go on the brakes. It's going to be a battle of the last late breakers here as they go into the second chicane. That's the outside car there, the Turtle Sim Racing entry that gets the inside line there, the opening part of that chicane, and manages to hold off the driver right alongside him. But it's not over yet. They continue to go side by side here as they're about to enter the brakes into Mulsanne.
Yeah, really good racing between these guys, going 3 wide with the GT3. That is really brave stuff. They're still side by side, but I think the Turtle Sim Racing car just about edging ahead. And remember, they've still got the ARZ Motorsport car behind them as well. So this is a 3-way battle for 12th place, all in the Cadillac. So no car advantage here at all. It's just straight racing all the way down to Indy Fast and Indy Slow and into Arnage. So let's see what's going to happen in, I think, round 3 of this battle on this lap. And all the SimCity cars trying to go
Rewind!
3 wide up the inside, but just backs out of it. And then up the inside, he has to be careful here. slightly cambered corner, but they all remain as they are. The Turtle Sim Racing car still defending the inside, but is able to cut back across, and I think that might be the end of it for now. As well, if anyone gets a nose in up into the Porsche curves, well, this is going to be very, very interesting. Let's see what the SimCity car does. He's gaining on the Turtle Sim Racing car. Is he going to dive up into the Porsche curves? No, you can just see him backing out there, and all the ARZ car behind nearly ran into the back of him. I don't think he expected him to slow up that much. Here you can see him flashing there. Really did not expect him to. I think he just slammed on the brakes there. He lost about, I think, half a second through those corners. So yeah, the Sim Racing City car not really liking those Porsche curves. There's just so much time, and the ARZ car trying to get past now, but into these final chicanes, not the best overtaking opportunity ever. You can barely fit one car through there, let alone two. And well, it's just started to calm down a little bit. The Turtle Sim Racing car has just shot off into the distance and has got a bit of clean air in front of him. And well, you love to see these battles going on. 2 hours and 20 minutes into the race, and then trying to change for second as well. This is what I mean. We're trying to follow battles everywhere we go. The car in third place. I did say a couple of days ago that I absolutely love that team name. And well, Reese Carl trying to get onto the back of Sanders. Has actually, I believe Sanders was the one overtaking. He's put on an absolute stellar performance so far. He made his way up into third into turn one, which we saw a couple of laps ago, and now has made himself up into second place. So looking good for the Hydro race car. He's on a man on a mission, but he's got 32 seconds to Paul Busby in front of him, who, well, talking about men on missions, Paul Busby really is on one.
He is pulling a massive gap right now, and what I was going to say, as you mentioned there, that we have battles all throughout the field, whether it be in GTP or GT3. What we need to be is like those lizards that can look at two different things at once with their eyes pointing in different directions. That's basically what we need, a broadcasting equivalent of that. I'm not sure if that would be mechanically, technically, or physically possible, but that would be something that we need right now. Only in endurance racing could we have action 2 hours and 19 minutes into an 8-hour race. We're just barely over the quarter mark of this race, and we've had so much action all throughout the field. We've had some great action here in Split 1. This is it. Here we're seeing that battle continue farther down the GTP category as there's lap traffic involved here. The Missed Apex Predators car gang involved in that fight, and you can see the GTPs going side by side there once again as they're about to enter the braking zone into Mulsanne. This is some close stuff here. That was some beautiful 3-wide action that they had last lap going into Indianapolis. My untimely yodeling there really showed you how excited I was to see that racing action as they entered Indianapolis. We might see take 2 of it this time around, as they are still very close. You can see them farther up the road, the GT3 battle that we were following. You can see them very close, trying to stay line of stern with each other. It's like watching a bike race where they're all in the slipstream train here, and he's pulled out there, so they're going side by side. They got the GT3 car involved in this. They're going to try and go 3 wide, possibly going into Indianapolis, or 3 wide exiting it, and they're going to go, ooh, this is very tight there. The BMW smartly backs out of it. He wants no piece of this action right there, but these Cadillacs, all 3 of them, line of stern right now, fighting really hard right now. They are clawing for every position they can, and it is wonderful to watch, but it's not over yet. We've got another Mercedes farther up into the distance that might act as a little bit of a pick here right before they go, actually while they're going through the Porsche curves. The Mercedes is on the inside, so they have to tuck to the outside and get around them. They all get through there, incident 3, but it's not over yet. As you can see, the number 26 there, I believe, the Turtle Sim Racing car is clawing and just trying to find any way he can to get past the SimCity Racing 71 car up ahead. And meanwhile, the AZR Motorsports black entry right behind them is going to be looking at this and smelling blood in the water, because if these 2 drivers up ahead take each other out, it is going to be good news for him. But you can see him clobbering the curbs there, coming through the final chicane to round off this lap. We are 41 laps into this race here, and they're still racing as hard. They're racing like they're racing for the finish, or it's like they're racing on lap 1. This is some incredible stuff here.
Oh, that was super, super close. The ARZ car absolutely just completely missed his braking into turn 1. I don't know if he did what I was talking about earlier, where there's that bump on the inside of the curb, And if you hit it the wrong way, it just completely sends you into turn one. Let's see what actually happened. Did he lock up at all, or did he just completely miss his braking? And I'm not seeing any locking up. I think he just went too deep, to be honest. I'm not really seeing any locking up. And, well, he's got about a 2-second slowdown to serve as well. So not only has he lost so much time, he's well, got a huge slowdown to serve. But surprisingly is still keeping in with the guys ahead who are still battling. Unsurprisingly, too wide into the first chicane. Tries to keep it clean. Ooh. Oh, this is so close. The Sim City car just about gets ahead. Total Sim Racing, being harsh but fair there, went up onto the black stuff on the inside of the first chicane, and we head down to the second one. And look how close the ARZ car is still after that slowdown and turn one incident. He's still there. This is how hard they're racing. And like you said, it's like they're racing on the last lap as they all go deep into that corner. I don't think any of them are fuel saving. I think I can tell you that much. They all want to get ahead of one another, and they all seem evenly matched. Since, well, SimCity was about a second ahead at one point, and I think probably lost out to traffic, and it kind of evened them up again. And then these two went to battle with the ARZ car about a second and a half behind, and now he's right there again. It's fantastic stuff. Into Mulsanne corner we go, and they're still 12th, 13th, and 14th as you were, but I have the feeling it's not going to stay like that for long, as we've got a long slipstream run all the way down to Indy fast and then Indy slow. Oh, well, round, I think, 4 of Indianapolis this time. It's we've gone 3 wide into there about 3 times, and they've all come out unscathed. So they're really putting on some fantastic racing right now. They're being really harsh, as there's the Turtle Sim Racing car trying to lunge it up the inside. A little bit of a lock up there. Manages to keep it on the track, and I think we'll have to concede position. He goes really deep into Arnage there. The ARZ car flashing his lights a little bit. All of these guys, I think they've all flashed their lights at least one now. They're all not happy with one another. But either way, we're loving what we're watching right now. But they've got GT3 traffic up ahead, which is, well, really going to slow things down for at least one of these guys. Is it going to be the leader? Is it going to be the guy in the middle? Let's see if the Ferrari backs out of it, and that's the Turtle Sim Racing car getting very wide onto the grass. The Ferrari there, 4-wheel drifting into the second part of the Porsche curves there. The GT3 again. The Turtle Sim Racing car gives absolutely 0 beeps right now. He's putting on a fantastic show for the rest of us at home. He's trying to put on as much pressure as he can into these final chicanes they go. How did they not touch through there? And again, they've touched finally. They've finally touched. It was inevitable. You have to say that was coming. He's got to turn the car around. And the Turtle Sim Racing car making contact. I think he was just being a bit too aggressive. Oh, catch your breath, Ron. We're going to have a look at what just happened.
That was inevitable. The Turtle Sim Racing driver was going really aggressive there. This isn't really a section of the course where you should go for a move there, and just, it's a lockup, and just, it's such a shame, really, racing very aggressively, considering that we're just barely a quarter of the way into this race. So some very aggressive racing, some tempers flaring. I think all those drivers you mentioned had their flashing the lights at each other. I think they were all seeing the red mist as that battle developed. So I was going to say, when they entered Indianapolis that last lap, I was going to joke that they've gone 3 wide into that corner a lot, but on the one time that they go single file into there is when it's going to end in disaster. And then just a few corners later, look what happened. So it's unfortunate for the drivers involved, but that's just hard racing that reaches its antithesis there with an unfortunate just incident taking the one driver out. They were about 7 seconds back of the battle, but I mean, it's not like there's 7 seconds left of the race. We're only 2 hours and 25 minutes and only 2 hours and 26 minutes into this 8-hour race here for the Drive for Wishes. So there's still a lot to play for. And we also have a full course yellow coming out in the not too distant future. We have one for the first half and one for the second half, if I'm not mistaken. So we might be getting that here soon. So that will definitely throw a wrench in the works here for that, for all the fights up and down the field, whether it be this fight that we're seeing in GT3 or the fight that we were seeing in GTP.
Honestly, this is what I was talking about. You're like 2.5 hours into an endurance race, and it's like it's a sprint race. And I think you've got to say, you've got to love it for that. It's providing some real good entertainment for us. And well, we're loving it. I think Ron and me are having absolute worldly time right now, and well, for all the good that this event is doing, it's putting a smile on our faces right now. We are loving the on-track action here in the GT3s and in the GTPs, and I think that's why people love these LMDH cars a lot more compared to the LMP1s of old. They do provide such good racing and a lot more even as well. It was a three-way battle. Now it's just down to two. As there's the Sim City car going a little bit wider, Indy slow into. Oh, I've forgotten the name of this corner again. I'm absolutely blanking right now. Oh no, there you go. Oh no. I'm getting so distracted by the absolutely amazing racing we've got right now. I'm blanking out. It's probably because I haven't eaten my bacon sandwich yet. I'm looking at it right now, just like, I want it, but I don't know when is appropriate time to have my first bite. To be honest, I have one question because I think this battle will just calm down once we go through Porsche curves. I might be completely wrong, but we'll find out. With a bacon sandwich, do you put ketchup on it? Yes or no?
Ooh, it depends on what the bacon sandwich is, as we're seeing some action here. You kind of did the reverse jinx there as they're going side by side, going at it into the final chicanes here. This is close here, but they get through cleanly. Fingers crossed they get through this section cleanly. Yes, they do. Unlike the other action there a few laps ago, they managed to get through cleanly. So I'm not really familiar with the dynamics of a bacon sandwich. I'm imagining it being UK culinary dishes. I can imagine it's just bread and bacon, maybe a little bit of butter to toast the bread. Am I wrong in that assessment?
No, you're absolutely right. That's literally just a bacon sandwich. It's so simple. But this is the thing about British cuisine. We have simple things that to other countries make absolutely no sense. But then they try it and they're like, that's actually not that bad. Like, we get a lot of stick for having beans on toast, which I kind of get. It does sound a bit weird. But then you have it and you're like, this is actually quite nice. I've known a few Americans like that who genuinely make fun of it, have it, and then end up having it as like a normal thing. And it might be the same with the bacon sandwich. Just try it, and then you might love it. It's just one of the many wonders of the world. Honestly, it's the 8th wonder of the world, in my opinion. A bacon sandwich. And going to the ketchup debate as well. I don't have ketchup, but I feel like I should.
I mean, I guess you have to add something in there to make it a little less dry. It depends on how the bacon is cooked, because I don't know how UK bacon is. Ooh, that is incredibly close there, as you see the prototype threading the needle with the GT3 car there. But I think it really depends on people's taste. I think for me, I know I usually it just depends on how everything is done, how well the bread is toasted, whether there's still a little bit of like butter flavor in there. Depends on how the bacon's cooked. It depends on a whole lot of things. So I think if the bacon is like really like overly cooked, like my dad used to cook bacon to the point where it was basically charred, where you could basically just snap it in half, which also explains why he enjoys his steaks well done, which to some is a crime against nature. I think, knowing my luck, I just said that he's going to come into my room and curse me out here after this broadcast. Yes. But I think, like, if you have like way overcooked bacon and like way over toasted bread, then you have to add something in there to add a little bit of flavor to kind of mask the charcoaly burnt notes of everything. So it really just depends on exactly what dynamics a bacon sandwich has. Meanwhile, we've got some battling here with the Geeks Energy Fiercely Forward Black team battling with the Satellite Racing for Wishes team. The Satellite Racing for Wishes team had that massive moment a few moments ago, but they are still battling here. This is incredibly close as they go into the first chicane on the Mulsanne straightaway, and the Satellite Racing for Wishes team pulls ahead, so that's a battle for the last position in the top 5. But I think what we might do here, we've approached 2.5 hours into this race. I think we're going to switch our attention to Split 2. There was a nice gentleman in the YouTube chat telling us that Split 2 is currently under full course yellow, so I think we'll switch over to Split 2 and pick up that restart. So we will join you in a little bit after these messages.
On my hard days, I usually don't think about it. I just try to get to the next day and hope that the next day will be better.
My legs don't work like other people's, so I have to be in a wheelchair.
I take the needed medicine for everything that's going on in my body.
My wish is to redesign my bedroom.
My wish is to remodel my backyard. It's like that warm feeling, almost like you know something really good is gonna happen.
Hello? Ghostbusters?
Leeds Central Library is under attack. We need the Ghostbusters.
We've got one!
How you doing, George? Good to see you. We've got you your own proton pack.
Thank you! This is insane! Best day of my life by a mile!
What is happening? Senior Ghostbusting Cadet George. We've got a message from the Mayor. He needs you down there right now. Are you able to come down and save the city for us?
Yep.
He will get you there as soon as, buddy.
I'm definitely picking up something here, George. PKA valences are off the chart. It's burying the needle.
George was born with a complex congenital heart defect. His heart can never be repaired.
You know, I've heard stories about this place. This place used to belong to a very wealthy family, and apparently the maid, she still haunts this place. So we need to be careful.
So far, it's been 3 open heart surgeries by the age of 6. His first open heart surgery was when he was only 36 hours old. And each time it's to try and improve the function of the half of the heart that works and to raise his oxygen levels. He's doing really, really well at the moment, but there will be more surgical interventions, and potentially we're looking at a transplant further down the road with him.
Okay, there's signs up there, right next to that picture up there.
He's a lovely, kind, friendly guy, and when you speak to him about his sort of hopes and ambitions, a lot of it is helping other people. It does affect him. Aspects of life he finds harder than other kids his age. He's a lovely personality, and he'd much rather see the fun side of things than the serious side.
Some hand marks right there.
Some hand marks.
Yeah,
Human or spiritual?
spiritual.
Spiritual, okay, well.
That's why I had to put the ghost goggles on.
Okay, let's go. Hey, good job, George.
Yeah, we've got one.
Yeah. Get it in there, George. Put him in there.
George has been absolutely amazing. He's saved Leeds. We didn't want Marshmallow Man to come and take Town Hall down, and George has nipped it in bud.
George, as a Ghostbuster, is fantastic. You know, he may have troubles with his heart, but he's definitely strong of heart. For anyone who's thinking about wanting to get involved with Make-A-Wish, make wishes happen for other kids, I 100% would implore you to do that, because it's something that, you know, I'll personally remember for the rest of my life.
Thank you to the East Midlands Ghostbusters, all the police officers that helped, and I don't know, just everybody that helped make my wish come true.
Well, hello everybody, we are back here on Make-A-Wish's international channel across YouTube and Twitch here with Split 2 of the Drive for Wishes 2023 Make-A-Wish charity event. We've already raised quite a lot of money. I'll check the link right now, and if you want to donate yourself, you can check out the link in the YouTube chat and the Twitch chat as well. But we've raised quite a lot of money. The original goal was $10,000, and right now we're coming up on our newest goal of 17. So we've already broken a lot of goals. We're currently at $16,332.27. So it's great to see the sim racing community unite and raise some money for a good cause. So right now we're in Split 2, as I said, and we're currently under the mandated first half full course yellow right now. For Split 2. They've been under caution for a little while now. It is the Fiercely Forward team who's been dominant throughout this race. They're currently running in the first position in the GTP category, and then right behind them is the GMB Racing team, currently running in second. Then the Honey Competition Green team rounds out your podium in GTP. Then looking farther down, it is the Get Pole Racing 1 team currently running in first position right now in GT3. That's Pit Lane Sim Racing currently in second, and Sim Racing.be rounding out your podium in GT3. It's been a great race so far, not only for the people involved with Make-A-Wish, who have raised quite a lot of money throughout this fantastic event. It's been great for the people that have won giveaways, and there's also some auctions as well. So if you want to place some bids on some stuff, you can check out any relevant links that we have and check out some stuff involving that, and now we're following some action farther down the field. And getting back to the point that I was going to say is Get Pole Racing has had a fantastic race. They're currently dominant right now in GT3, and they've also had a fantastic race so far in Split 2. My apologies, they're having a great race in Split 2 that we're following. They've also had a great race in Split 3 as well. Last time we checked, they're leading by about a minute and a half. So Sim Racing 1, 2, and 3 are having some pretty good races right now, and they're looking to carry on that good streak of fortune right now in Split 2. We might be getting the restart here in the not too distant future. The field is just trying to coagulate, get everyone caught up, and hopefully we'll get the green flag here in the not too distant future. We'll bring you this restart here in the not too distant future. So for the people just joining us, welcome. My name is Ron Mons, or as I've been called, Louis Mons in this broadcast, and joining me, Aaron, aka Pierre Smith, next to me in the commentary booth with Jonathan Grabowski working all the cameras and the graphics in the virtual production hauler. And we say welcome to this race. We are over a quarter of a way into this 8-hour classic here, which I hope will be a fixture of the iRacing service for a long time. We've raised some money for a great cause, and I hope it continues long into the future. So Aaron, you have a lot more experience racing in these endurance style races. You just wrapped up your season in the Apex Racing League Prototype Challenge, running in your Cadillac in the top class there. So I want to get your insight on how you would possibly approach this restart if you were in the driver's seat rather than the commentary booth.
I guess with an endurance event this long, you wouldn't really want to be that aggressive, to be honest. You just want to hold position, if anything. And for the first lap or two, you just want to get the car back into its proper window, as the Cadillac is known for being quite scary when it's on colder tires. It takes a little bit longer than most of the other cars to heat back up into those, especially the front tires. The rear tires can be a bit skittish, especially on traction. Luckily, for this track anyway, there's only a few low-speed corners that you have to worry about. But once you get past Mulsanne, you probably will be fine. So just hold your position and you'll be all right. But if you're doing IMSA and you're on a restart, which obviously doesn't happen, but if it did, then you'd probably be a bit more aggressive, as you've got a lot less time to try and bump up those places. And I do remember a couple times during ARL this season that the starts that we had were a little bit chaotic. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the starts that we had, but not all of them were fantastic. Some of them ended up in pile-ups before we even got to the start-finish straight. But eventually, I got my stuff together. Was about to use a wrong word there. And ended up finishing runner-up in the championship, so I'm fairly happy with that. Marteau, of course, won because he's just the quickest man I've ever seen in my life. He has won, I think, his 6th ARL championship now. And I think the second most anyone has ever won is 2. That shows you how good he is, and he's going to go places. I'm good friends with him, so I know where he's going to go, but he's an absolutely mental driver, and I think the only reason he's not participating in this is because he has BMW Sim Cup, I believe, today. So yeah, a bit of a shame that he couldn't do this event, but nevertheless, he's a fantastic driver. And yeah, just I don't know how I got onto this topic, to be honest. I do this a lot. I go from one topic and then just completely just go into another topic. We could be talking about bacon sandwiches 1 minute, and then next minute we could be talking about Black Friday. Like, I'm very good at waffling, which is why I guess I'm good as a commentator, because I can just bore you to death.
It's no, I wouldn't say boring. It's a great qualifying feature to be a commentator, whether it be in sim racing or in real life racing. That when I had my job interview for Apex Racing TV, who brings you this broadcast in collaboration with Make-A-Wish International, when I had my job interview here back in March, earlier this year, back in March, basically the one thing I said as like qualifying features as to why I'd be a great part of the crew here would be that it comes second nature to me. I can run my mouth fairly easily, so I guess that's how I can thank my career towards being able to run my mouth, so it's a good thing. It's a good thing I was a social outcast in middle school, because I ended up talking to myself for quite a lot throughout my formative years. So that could be the reason why I'm a good commentator now. But right now, on track, you can see they're going down the Mulsanne straightaway. You can see the train of cars just lining up farther behind, and I believe we will be taking the restart this time around, and as I said, it'll be the Fiercely Forward team at the front, and right behind him I believe is the GMB Racing driver in P2, so that'll be a tense battle to follow there at the restart, only a second separating them, so it's going to be some tense stuff here. I'm sure we might see, maybe we'll see some incidents, maybe we'll see some drivers roughing each other up a little bit. We're following Split 1, and there are a lot of drivers roughing each other up, despite being about 2 hours into this race. There are a lot of drivers feeling real racy and feeling real risky as well. So I think before we get to the restart, I just want to mention this. You brought up the topic of talking about food, and that's kind of been a running theme throughout this race, throughout this broadcast. And I just want to say that discussion all started when we were following Split 2 earlier on in this broadcast, which is going to be 9 hours long, split across multiple parts. And one of the GT3 teams, I believe it's Racing, I believe it's Potato Racing Russet, who's running in the GT3 category. Actually, yeah, you can see a Potato Nation Russets, my apologies. They're running in the 9th spot right now in the Lamborghini, currently 14 seconds back of the GT3 leader, so they're a little bit farther behind in the field. You can see they're of the last of the cars really within a shot. You can see Team Rap with Orange Army, who I believe we haven't mentioned on this broadcast so far. They're currently running at 11th, about a minute behind this. I believe they might be just trying to catch up. Yeah, you can see them going down the Mulsanne straightaway now. Thank you, Jonathan. And just trying to slowly catch up to this field before we take the green flag here to restart this race. As I mentioned, across all 3 splits here, we were following Split 1 a few moments ago, we're following Split 2 now. There will be full course yellows mandated for the first half and the second half of these races. So we already had the yellow flag come out in Split 3. That came out about an hour ago, so they've already restarted their race and have gotten things back underway. And now we're under yellow here in Split 2, and maybe we'll follow this We'll follow this split for a little bit, and if we get any word that there's going to be a yellow flag in Split 1, we're going to have to pry our eyes on that, because that's going to be real tense stuff, trying to get the Split 1 win in this Drive for Wishes event here in 2023, which I've said this many times throughout the broadcast, and this isn't speaking from a professional basis. I really have enjoyed covering this series. It's been fantastic. It's been heartwarming to see the support that the sim racing community has had for Make-A-Wish. It's a wonderful organization that supports children all around, and they've slowly gotten involved in motorsports as well. A lot of children these days have asked for more motorsports themed wishes, so that's pretty cool as a race fan. So hopefully this is the start of something new here on Make-A-Wish, something new here on iRacing, and something that will continue for a long time. We've hopefully put on a good broadcast. I don't want to toot my own horn. I think I've been serviceable, but hopefully the racing action on track has been absolutely wonderful, and I hope you, the viewer, regardless of whether you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch, and regardless of where you're watching this across the world, I hope you've enjoyed this as well. And if you want to support this even more, you can check out the other donation links littered across the other YouTube and Twitch chat, as well as a description of these live streams. If you want to let us reach our $17,000 goal, that would be fantastic to achieve here in the next half hour as we follow this Split 2 restart. So you can see the drivers warming up their tires a little bit. That's something we have to keep our eye on in this GTP fight. Those tires are really, really difficult to get up to temperature. It's something that we've seen in IMSA, World Endurance Championship, and it's something that is converted beautifully into iRacing from the people doing all the coding in iRacing's HQ, and I believe Boston, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure exactly where iRacing. Yep, we got word from our producer Jonathan that is where they're based, so I got that correct. So the pace car has pulled off. It's made that hard right turn to go back down pit road. It's the Fiercely Forward team leading the field back to green for this first restart of the day, and they're starting to pull away a little bit, as is a GMB driver right behind them. They've pulled away from the GTP action farther down, so Honey Competition Green has dropped back a little bit, but meanwhile the Fiercely Forward and GMB drivers are pulling away from that fight, about 7 and now 8 tenths of a second separating them. Meanwhile, we've got some side-by-side action farther down the order. between some cars, but right now is the Fiercely Forward team holding on to that lead. This was the action that we were seeing. Buzz the Tower Racing had a great start. They were going side by side. Meanwhile, we've got some GTPs littered farther down in the order. They're trying to negotiate some of these GT3s on this restart, so that's going to be real tricky, and it's going to be great to see these drivers trying to negotiate these lapped cars. You can see the Porsche, the Cadillac, and another Porsche farther down the order there as they try and go through those GT3 cars. Ooh, that is a bold move there, going into Tetra Rouge for the Porsche there. The ISMC Red team, they're currently running in P15 in GTP. They go there with a bold move going down the inside of Tetra Rouge. Meanwhile, right farther behind them, it's the Hillis Community that was about to start a battle there. And meanwhile, we've got Buzz the Tower Racing Maverick that were getting involved in a nice battle with Fastlane Motorsports. They're having a good battle there at the start. We've got some action all throughout this field. We mentioned while we were following Split 1 probably about half an hour ago, we need the broadcasting equivalent of like a lizard that can look at two different things at once just to catch all the battles. And now, meanwhile, we're following the Potato team farther behind. They're in the Lamborghini, I believe the lone Lamborghini in this field. They're getting passed right now by the ODC team, I believe, going into the first chicane on the Mulsanne straightaway. That's a nice move there. My apologies, it was a Ferrari. Yeah, actually, that was the ODC team. My apologies. For some reason, I thought it was a McLaren from a distance. I blame my eyesight. I need to get my eyes checked once again. But the ODC team is now looking for a move to get done on the Squadra Veloce by Fastlane Motorsports team. They're battling for P8 right now. So we've got a Porsche and a Ferrari battling farther up ahead. Meanwhile, we've got a Lamborghini being tailed by a BMW. So we've got some nice inter-car mingling here. It's always a nice feature of GT3 cars to have different cars with their own unique quirks and features. So it's been a clean start all around. I need to take a break to catch my breath and have a glass of water.
I do not blame you. You basically just spoke non-stop for the last 5 minutes, so congratulations, Ron. It's now my turn to ruin my voice, so here we go, all the way down to Indianapolis. The first run after the restart, and it looks like people aren't being too aggressive, which honestly I think is the best idea. These tyres aren't going to be fully up to temperature yet. They should be nearing that as they come into Arnage now. Tricky braking zone, car in front, really slow motion racing. Not having the best exit there through Arnage. The car behind DBRPM1 team just gaining a couple dents. This is going to be an interesting move down into Porsche curves if he's going to go for it. It'd be very, very bold if he can. But like we've seen many, many times, people just back out of it, which gotta respect it. It's just shows testament that these drivers have a lot more experience and have some pretty decent racecraft. And BMW just eyeing up behind and switching back to the GT3s. And this is the problem when you've got a restart. You've got so much on-track action to follow. Like Ron said, you've got to be some kind of lizard or a spider, or you've got to have some kind of F1 TV setup where you've got multiple screens. Press the red button for an onboard of every single driver type deal. We're going to have to get Apex Racing TV glass, or press the, I don't know, orange button, I guess, for Apex. But yeah, we'll just have a big orange button on your screen, and you can watch any onboard from all of the many drivers. I'm trying to count 32 drivers. There you go on the grid. And it really would be an amazing feature if we could have that. But I don't really know if that's physically possible. One day we'll do that.
Yeah, as Apex Racing TV slowly increases their coverage of iRacing and all different gambits of sim racing, we'll have the orange button there. If you want to watch all the onboard action from this Drive for Wishes event, press the orange button. If you'd like to see no action whatsoever, you can hit Alt F4 on your keyboard. So right now, we've got some action here with the GTPs. This is a nice battle that we were following towards the start. We saw a little bit of that in the background. That was a big lock up there from the Porsche, who I believe has now gone into the escape chute. Yes, he hasn't. He's gone through the very dusty part of the asphalt right before he hit the gravel trap. So that is a massive mistake there for the Porsche there. The PN Forever 7 Feck Cancer Spectrum team. That's a beautiful name there. They're running in the Porsche and have that mistake there. They're still running in P8, but might get challenged by the VGTR Esport team right behind them. They're now about 4/10 of a second separating those two. So that might be something we have to keep our eye on. Meanwhile, we've got some GT3 action. We've got action all up and down the field. You can see the orange and yellow numbers on the left-hand side of your screen that shows battles within a second. So we've got some really, really close stuff. We've got like 2 battles in 1 frame here. Thank you, Jonathan. We've got some nice action here. We've got a BMW and a Porsche battling, as well as a Lamborghini and a Porsche battling as well. Meanwhile, the BMW is having a great run. Those BMWs are a bullet in a straight line, despite having the aerodynamic equivalent of a flying brick. So that BMW is hauling butt going down the Mulsanne straightaway and manages to pick up 2 positions and pick off 2 Porsches going down that first section of the Mulsanne straightaway. But it's not going to be over yet. He has a fantastic run coming out of the first chicane on the Mulsanne straightaway. Is now going to go side by side with the number 32 Lamborghini there of Potato Nation. Russett's there going side by side as they go down the Mulsanne straightaway. It will be a battle of the last of the late breakers. The Lamborghini flashing its headlights there. Not sure why. Some mental games going on there. Some sportsmanship, it seems like. So right now the BMW pulls out and gets the move done. It's not going to be over yet. We'll see. Okay, so the Lamborghini does not have enough guts to try and outbrake the BMW ahead. So now it's Potato Nation Russett's running out your top 10, and Team Rap with Orange Army running in P9, who we were worried that they were not even going to catch up to the field by the time we restarted this race. They've managed to catch up nicely and is currently running P9. This has been a fantastic restart for them in the BMW.
Honestly, I was expecting the Lamborghini to come back a little bit down this straight, but hasn't really been able to make enough ground. I think the potato car, it's so weird calling them that, but it's such a fitting name. But yeah, the potato car really just, I think it was into that first Mulsanne chicane. They just went way too deep onto the brakes, and that's why the Team Rap with Orange Army car was able to catch up so quick again. And we've got some battles in the GTP cars, and that's a Porsche into the wall. Max Verstappen style. Anyone who watched Le Mans Virtual will get what I mean. And that's not the ideal thing to do. I have no idea what that noise was, but I'm not going to ask. Yeah, the Porsche there, really unfortunate. We're probably going to take a replay of what on earth just happened with that Porsche. Obviously not very good over the bumps, we know that, and just completely lost grip going into that corner. And I think this is a problem we've seen with the Porsche and the Acura this season, that sometimes they just lose grip in the tires. I think he either just, I don't know if he just went way too deep into that corner and carried too much speed, or the Porsche, those Michelin tires just gave up on him. I'm not quite sure which one it is, but either way, really unfortunate for them. That's a huge setback, and they've fallen right down the GTP order and are many, many seconds off. And dear.
What in the world?
That's really slow motion racing, who I don't think I need to make the joke I was about to make. They're doing the Porsche strap, and they're crabbing all the way down the straight. I'm going to have a guess this is a huge impact. Was it contact with another car? I'm going to have a guess it was. Into this corner we go. It looks fairly clean, and yeah, just contact. And that's really weird, actually. We know that iRacing have fixed the, well, they are meant to have fixed the like rates at which the rear wing just breaks off, but that looks like a fairly clean sweep. He just bumped him up the back and ripped the rear of the car off, and guessing it gave him huge suspension damage. That was a fairly light tap, a second tap as well. Slams into the wall, but I'm really surprised that completely took off his rear bumper and rear wing with it. And, well, genuinely is looking like a Peugeot now, as he's barely able to keep the car under control. He's crabbing his way down the straight, and, well, fair play to the man. He's flashing everyone. I think he's just... Is he flashing to us to say hi? If so, hello. Really slow sim racing. But, yeah, he's got to carry that car all the way back to the pits. And, yeah, you really do not want to tow around here. It's super, super long, and I'm not quite sure who he's flashing at or who, but he's not a very happy man, as this is the car I believe that was involved, the DB RPM 1 team, who's now coming under pressure from the JSR BMW behind, and I'm not sure if the JSR is a reference to something. There's one reference I'm thinking in my head, but it's really obscure, really obscure. I don't know if anyone's heard of the game Jet Set Radio. I don't know if that's just me. Yeah, I didn't think. Yeah, our producer just said no. So yeah, I think it's just a me thing. I might be right, and maybe they're cultured men as well. But Yeah, we got some really good team names, got to be honest, in all of these splits. Split 1, Split 2, and Split 3 as the Eagle Speed Academy Esports G team in the Porsche, really struggling for grip. The Cadillac behind, trying to just push him along. We've got the BMW not too far behind the Fastlane Motorsport car, just eyeing up any opportunity that he can. He's on the back of the Buzz the Tower Racing Maverick car in the Cadillac as they start to spread out a little bit. A second between these three cars as we now come on to lap 47, and we're now 3 hours into this Split 2 race. And, well, we've only got 5 hours to go. And, Ron, you've only got about, I think, 2 left, if I'm not mistaken? Or 1? Might be wrong.
I believe it might be 1, yeah. It's, I've been on this broadcast ever since 9:30 local time, so I'm glad my vocal cords haven't entirely blown out yet. But after this, I'll be doing some broadcasting on Apex as well. So that's going to be fun. The Spec Racer Forward Weekend Warriors. Actually, you know, that's a wonderful series. Had some great racing. Stay tuned to this. Support a great cause, and stay tuned for a very good finish. I think we've got some action farther throughout this field, and we also have some action that we might get here soon. I believe the full course yellow was just declared in Split 1, so I think after we stay tuned with this for a little while, we may cap off my stint following this series with some Split 1 restart action. If it's anything like we had here in Split 2, I think it's going to be fantastic. But meanwhile, the action that we are following there with the Buzz the Tower Racing Maverick team that's been really struggling at that incident a little bit earlier, and now is under pressure from drivers further behind. We got the Eagle Speed Racing Academy Esports G team, and I just want to ask you this real quick, Aaron. There's some discussion towards the start of the race. Is that a cool name or not? I need to know if I'm not the only one.
I think it is, but then again, I think all of these team names are quite cool, to be honest. I've gone through the full list of every single team name in this series, and they're all good. I don't know which one's my favourite. Apart from, I think my silly favourite is probably genuinely just the team, who's in Split 1, driven by Reese Carroll at the moment, I think. And yeah, it's just a simple but goofy name. It's just How can you go wrong with It's something that we Brits say quite a lot when we have no idea what to say. Also add on to a sentence, we're just and we do that a lot. It's part of our vocabulary.
Vocabulary.
I can't speak. Yeah, I'm losing my mind. Vocabulary. I don't know what's going on with me today.
In fairness, Aaron, with the racing action that we have had here, I can't really blame you for losing your mind a little bit. I lose my mind from time to time, so I can't really blame you for that. So sorry about the noise I made when the Porsche spun off a little while ago, and I made the that was a little sarcastic laugh there. I think that probably scared you, as it probably did our producer Jonathan, who must have thought I had some kind of severe medical event happen to me there right behind the microphone. Yeah, he just said he was thinking on dialing 911. So it's actually, it being the city that I live, you dial 911, probably won't arrive here for about an hour and a half. So we're going to switch our attention back to the racing action here across the field. We've got some battling here. It's cooled off a little bit. The action has kind of died off. I wouldn't say died off. We've still got some very close fields right now. 3 hours into this race, and we've still got many cars separated by less than a second. So it shows you the kind of brilliant racing that we have in these endurance races with these lapped cars involved. Of course, it probably won't. The field won't be as close as it is now if it wasn't for the full course yellow. That's kind of obvious, but it's still been pretty close. And right now, there's a close battle here. It's heating up between GMB Racing and Honey Competition Green. About nearly 4/10 of a second separating these drivers as they enter the Mulsanne straightaway. We'll have to see if the Cadillac behind can close in on that Porsche. You said earlier, Aaron, that those Porsches are a bit of a dog in the straight line. Meanwhile, the Cadillac is a bullet in a straight line, and that's definitely the case for the Honey Competition Green team as they pull out to try and get the move done going into the first chicane on the Mulsanne straightaway. They were able to clear him before they even get on the brakes coming into the chicane. So that shows you the wonderful straight line advantage that those Cadillacs have. And right now, even with that slipstream that Porsche has, I think it's going to be real challenging for the Honey Competition competition green team to get challenged here once again. We'll just have to wait and see. It's kind of the stereotype. The American cars always have a stereotype for being really fast in a straight line, but really bad in the corners. So maybe we'll see the Cadillac possibly struggle when it comes time for the real twisty section to close off this lap. But right now, they're using the straight line speed to their advantage, trying to pull away from the GMB Racing Porsche right behind them. Now the gap is about a little north of half a second now, closing up a little bit, but still not closing in nearly as fast as the rate was when they're swapped the positions the other way around. So right now it's a close battle here, another close battle farther down the GTP field involving the DB RPM 1 team battling with the JSR team. Actually, is that the JSR team? I believe it is not. I believe that's a team Skitbill. Yep, Team Skitbill, the two Cadillacs battling as they go down the Mulsanne straightaway. About to enter Mulsanne. Ooh, it looked like, ooh, that's, oh,
he's
no,
gone.
there's no contact there, but it's a mistake there from the Team Skitbill driver. There has a massive slide there and nearly gets hit. Our producer Jonathan is having some kind of crisis right now. I've heard some very strange noises over the past few minutes. We're gonna have to take a look at a replay there. That was absolute disaster there. They nearly cleared both of each other out there. We're looking at the overhead view as they go into Mulsanne. Outbroke himself a little bit, locks up the rears, and oh, that was close. That was probably a couple of feet separating those drivers. It's an 8-hour race, but only a couple feet difference could have spelled absolute disaster for both of those drivers. So now the number 9 car is struggling quite a lot. Their tires are dirty. Their pants are probably dirty after nearly getting hit by the DBRPM driver currently running in P number 9. So wow, that was a lot of action there in a very short period of time. I need to catch my breath again.
You really are struggling throughout this entire broadcast, just to stay sane. And to be fair, same. I couldn't say the word vocabulary for about a minute. So, yeah, I genuinely was like deeping the fact I couldn't say simple words in the English language. Like some people can speak multiple languages. I can barely speak one, so that's just my life. But we're switching back to the GT3 action now. I think we've looked at in a little bit. A few laps. We got I think the sole McLaren in the field, the Hillers Community Racing. We've also got a change up the field in the GTP class. Sorry to just cut away from this as the McLaren goes straight on at the first Mulsanne chicane, and he's gonna lose a huge chunk of time. He was right on the back of the ODC team in front, but has lost a huge chunk of time. But yeah, I was just about to say, the man I believe who was in second in the GTP class has just had a huge mistake and now is all the way down in 5th place, the Honey Competition green car. I don't know what quite happened to them, but they just tumbled down the field. And I don't know if they spun or made some contact with some lap traffic, but they've got a bit of work on their hands. We're going to get a replay of what happened to them. Oh, it's into turn 1. Is it going to be the lockup that I've been talking about oh so much? Hits the bump there. It's actually okay, but just going into that first bump on the chicane, it really upsets these cars. You have to mount the curb fully if you don't want to spin, oddly enough. And it just sent his Cadillac right, well, I was going to say the right way around, the completely wrong way around. And he's lost a huge chunk of time, ruined his tyres, and has just got to get his head down now and focus on the task at hand. He's still got 4th place in his sights, but yeah, was in a good shot at the podium, but now has a lot of ground to make up over these next 5 hours. But we're just going to jump back a little bit, all the way to P7, the Fastlane Motorsport car, running in the BMW. He's got a Porsche ahead. And also notice how I don't think in any of the splits we have any Acuras, which we've talked about the Porsche being bad in the straight line. The Acura genuinely is about 10 kilometers an hour slower on the straights. I think when Owen was doing his BOP test for this track in IMSA, the Acura was nearly 2 seconds a lap slower than the Cadillac. It's that bad. The straight line speed of the Acura is really, really poor, where the Cadillac is just really, really OP. So yeah, this was a track absolutely dominated by the Cadillac, which is why in Split 1 pretty much all of them are. You've got a few Porsches, which can be fairly good on fuel, and the BMW, which is just kind of a good all-round car. And no Acuras, unfortunately, because, well, the car is just unusable here. Bit of up there. That's a Porsche that's gone round. The man who's in last at the moment in the GT3 category, the Snow Motorsport team, just into one of the most difficult corners on the track. We mentioned it before. Was it a lockup? Was it a spin? We're going to take a look now. Or did he make contact with a GTP possibly? This is the other Porsche in front of him, and just completely loses the car on the outside curb there. And a bit of an awkward spin. You usually see the fronts locking up into that corner, but not really the rears. So, yeah, fairly unlucky for them. But unfortunately, they're about a lap behind the guys in front. Going through the Porsche curves now, they're trying to do the best they can to move out of the way. We've got the Team Red X car coming into the pits now from third in the GTP class. They're going to lose a few positions as the Eagle Speed Academy Esports G team. Was it you, Ron, that said it was a really cool name? I think I'm slowly starting to agree with you. I think, not going to lie, just saying it is really nice. It's just a nice thing to say. I'm liking the team name.
It's a beautiful name, and I don't think that's just me being a red-blood American seeing Eagle and being like, yeah, USA. But early on this broadcast, when we were following Split 1 at the start of this race, I mentioned how that name sounded like something you hear in Top Gun, and then we joined this split, and then we see Buzz the Tower Racing Maverick. So we got the Top Gun references all throughout each split here. So it's great to have some nice, very creative team names here. I think we'll have a vote of some kind to try and figure out what the best name is for some of the teams, because we've got, my vote is probably going to be Potato Nation Russets, because that preceding potato discussion that we had, or that I had with Sam, led to me crying laughing on a broadcast in front of many, many people. And that's the first time I've ever cried laughing on a broadcast of any kind. So I can say that is a 100% first for me. So I think that could be why I like that name very much. But there's some fantastic names all throughout each split and all throughout just this whole race. There's a nice, good, fun feeling to it. No one's taking it too seriously. I've had the voice chat off for this race, so I haven't heard if anyone has said some expletives over the race chat. Tempers will run occasionally high, but I think all these drivers know that's a nice, calm, relaxing race. It's 8 hours just to try and raise some good money, and I just want to take a look at the donation link and just see where we're at right now. The goal was 17,000, and I'll give a refresh, and we are closing in on it still. We are at $16,751.16, so we are just short of $250 left from reaching that goal. So anyone that's watching right now and can spare a few dollars for a good cause, you know where to donate today. And Make-A-Wish, great organization, does wonderful things, granting wishes of many children. And some of the commercial breaks that we've shown in between switching splits, we've seen some wonderful stories there. I'm still touched by the other one that we saw earlier with the other child hanging out with the Ghostbusters for a day and then saving the town of Leeds in the UK. That was a very heartwarming ad that we played there probably about an hour and a half ago at this rate. So there's wonderful stories all across the world of Make-A-Wish, and if you'd like to support that, you can check out the links in the live chat across Twitch and YouTube, and also check out the descriptions as well, because we've raised a lot of money, and if we can crack one last goal before I say sayonara to this broadcast and try and let my voice recuperate, that would just be wonderful.
I think you and me both, Ron, but I feel more bad for you. I've only been doing this for about an hour and 20 minutes now, and I've still got another few hours to go. But to be fair, the time's absolutely flown by. Genuinely, when we switched over to this broadcast, when I started, it was like 5 o'clock, and now it's all of a sudden just 20 past 6, and I've only managed one half of my sandwich right now. So when I get another chance to eat the other half, I will. So I believe we're going to be changing over to, I think, Split 3 now, which we haven't taken a look at in a while. So I'm going to have one more slice of my bacon sandwich, and we're going to play some ads for you while all of the drivers seem to come into the pits, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
On my hard days, I usually don't think about it. I just try to get to the next day and hope that the next day will be better.
My legs don't work like other people's, so I have to be in a wheelchair.
I take the needed medicine for everything that's going on in my body.
My wish is to redesign my bedroom.
My wish is to remodel my backyard. It's like that warm feeling, almost like, you know, something really good is gonna happen.
And welcome back, everyone, to Make-A-Wish's coverage of the 2023 Drive for Wishes charity event here on iRacing. I am Ron Mons, or as I've been called on this broadcast, Louis Mons. Joining me is Aaron Smith, or as I've called him, Pierre Smith. A very old running joke at this point that I should probably ditch. Actually, I say that I won't ditch it. I've only got about a half an hour, then I'm finally able to go take a whiz. So, we are in split 3 now, and the action is it's a bit spread out right now. The gap between the two drivers at the front of the GTP category is right now 56 seconds, and another minute separating them farther behind. And then farther down in the oh Jesus, ignore that voice crack. In the GT3 category, it's a fairly large gap there, 3 minutes separating the two Get Pole Racing drivers there currently running in P1 and P2. Then the Maguire's team is about 56 seconds farther, about 56 seconds farther behind them. But I say that the prototypes have begun pitting. The leader for Flanders Racing is now into the pits, so he is pulling in from that fairly vast lead that he has right now over his teammate. This Flanders Racing Team Bravo driver there is pulling in to the pits. Meanwhile, the Flanders Racing Team Alpha driver is currently in second, about 1.8 miles behind. So it's a fairly spread out field right now in the third split here. We are 53 laps in. We are 3 hours and 22 minutes into this 8-hour race here. We still have plenty of action here on Make-A-Wish International here on YouTube and Twitch. And coming up here in about half an hour's time, we will be changing over to a new broadcast. We'll be changing over to, I believe it's now part 2. So if you'd like to stay with this race until the checkered flag comes at the 8-hour mark, you know where to find us here. And we've raised also quite a lot of money. We've had some great racing action. We've also had some great donation, great generosity shown by the sim racing community with this event. The original goal was to raise $10,000. We broke that before we even saw the green flag here a few hours ago. So we broke that, then we decided to go for $12,000. We broke that as well, and we've now broken $15,000, and we're coming close to breaking $17,000 as well. We're currently at $16,822.85. Can't forget the change there raised with this event so far. It's been a wonderful event for the world of sim racing. We've it's been nice to see the community join together, raise some money for a good cause, and it's just been fantastic to see the turnout as well. I believe the organizers originally wanted, I think it was 55 teams to show up. We had 140 teams show up with 3 splits that we've covered all throughout this coverage here on Make-A-Wish International's YouTube channel. So I will pass this off to you, Aaron. Right now, fairly spread out, all things considered. So I think for my final half hour here in the commentary booth on this broadcast, I think we can sit back, relax, and kind of like have a chill out barbecue. We were talking about food earlier. We might have to return to that discussion.
Yeah, honestly, not too much going on in this split, unfortunately. It's rather spread out. I don't think they've had their full course yellow yet. I could be completely wrong. They have. Never mind. Ignore everything I say. So, yeah, even with a full course yellow that they've already have, they are still incredibly spread out. Not too many GTPs in this split, and not too many GTPs left either. Only got about 8 cars remaining still in this race, and we're talking about the fact that there is an Acura in this split. Very, very brave man. The Team Red X 521 car, and oh dear, that's not good. Yeah, that was a very yeah, I think that was the correct response, to be honest. Well, this is what happens when you use the Acura coming in soon.
Oh no, that's a yeehaw moment.
That was a huge one, and that's honestly what happens with the Acura sometimes. It just loses that kind of grip in those high-speed corners if you're not careful. And yeah, well, yeah, as our producer just said, we had an Acura. Now we don't. And yeah, we still have an Audi. Of course, this Audi is going to be replaced in a few weeks' time as iRacing are finally updating this car, as it is quite a bit old now. I think this one was released in 2016, I think. I could be completely wrong. I've been wrong on many things tonight, so I probably am wrong again. But yeah, this car was desperately in need of an upgrade. It's one of the older GT3s on the field, and well, we're going to be waving goodbye to it in a few weeks' time. And very, very brave for the team to be using. But oh, we have a battle going on. This is absolutely incredible stuff. 2 Ferraris going at it. That's interesting use of track limits there through Indianapolis. Not sure if that would have been a 1X or a slowdown, but either way, very, very brave to be using that much curb going through there. It's such a fast corner, one of the more scary corners on the track in the likes of a GT3. In a GTP, it's fairly simple. It's flat out, maybe a bit of a lift if you're trying to save fuel, but in these cars, in these slower, yeah, you're hanging on for dear life, to be honest. It's terrifying. And well, they're going to be hanging on for dear life again as they go through Porsche curves, which is probably an even more scary part of the track, as he's on the grass, onto the gravel first, and just about avoids the crash test dummies who nearly became one there, going through Porsche curves. But yeah, good avoidance there for the crash test dummies, and oh dear, and he's gone off the track as well. Oh, back onto the track. I'm not sure if there was contact there, but both the Ferraris really struggling in the Porsche curves. Well, I said it would be difficult through there, but I didn't know it would be that difficult for both of these cars. We're going to get a replay of what happened to both of them. Not sure if they just took too much speed on entry into this corner, and does he hit the apex? And yeah, that's just too much speed going into there, and yeah, nearly wiped out the other Ferrari coming back on the track. And then only a few corners later, the crash test dummy team then did a similar thing. I think he just completely missed the corner. Not sure if he turned in too late or just didn't brake enough, not quite sure. I don't really have too much experience in these GT3 cars, so I'm probably waffling just a tiny bit. But yeah, this is after I believe they made the mistake, or they already did. And they made another mistake as well. That's 2 mistakes in just a few corners. I don't know if you guys ever raced much iRacing recently, but the gravel now is my least favorite thing ever. If you touch the gravel, it's game over. It's horrible. Like in the GT3s, there are some tracks where you want to use all of the track, but unfortunately there's gravel on the other side if you go too deep. And I'm talking, you're 1 pixel onto the gravel, you lose about 2 or 3 tenths. It's so bad. It's so annoying. I know why they did it. Don't get me wrong. I understand. But I don't agree with it. It makes track limits basically a permanent slowdown. And I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think this is definitely not this track. Probably the complete opposite of Le Mans. Summit Point. I think it's turn 3 or 4, where it's a small little protuberance on the outside of a very fast left-hander, and right on the other side of the curb is a gravel trap. And what you used to do there is you used to just be able to gun it through there and clip the gravel a little bit and just buzz through it like it's nothing and not even pick up a slowdown. Now, if you just touch the gravel a little bit on exit there, you're basically spinning around like a top. So I can definitely understand the frustration there with the reworked gravel physics. It's good for the grass, because the grass isn't like running on ice like it used to be, but now with the gravel, it's a little bit too grippy. It's just basically like running into a concrete wall. So it's, yeah, I can definitely see your frustration there, Aaron, with the nature of the gravel. But one man who's never really put a foot team really, who hasn't put a foot wrong all day is Ketpole Racing. You can see now on the left-hand side of your screen with the graphics on SDK, you can see the gap now is 3 minutes and 12 seconds between the teammates, and then after that, every single GT3 car is a lap down. So just not a whole lot of action there in GT3, if I'm being brutally honest. I'm paid to talk about racing. I'm not paid to make donuts. I don't work at a bakery, so I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. But meanwhile, we've got some drivers coming in. Is this another pit stop from the Flanders Racing team? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they came in not very long ago. So why in the world are they coming in again?
Not quite sure, to be honest, Ron. I don't know if they
fun.
Yeah, just trying to close the gap on the guys behind and just have something to happen. Excuse me there. Honestly, the bacon sandwich is getting to me, and I think they're doing a driver swap now, actually. That might be why. Possibly the guy in the lead just had enough. Just thought, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Bye. And asked his co-driver to hop in instead. And, well, the other Flanders Racing team has now taken the lead, or will take the lead. Oh, no, they already have taken the lead. Again, honestly, just don't listen to me tonight. I'm losing my mind. But they have taken the lead. The Bravo team back in the lead. And, well, yeah, they honestly, it's really weird to see Porsches in the lead. I've not seen that, I don't think, once this season. The Porsche's been sort of the worst car consistently throughout the entirety of IMSA. It's just too heavy. It just feels like a boat over these curbs. And it's not really amazing, to be honest, but I think Le Mans was genuinely its strongest track, which is not saying much, to be honest. It was, I think, 3/10 of a lap away from the BMW, and then I think another 4/10 away from the Cadillac, so it's better than the Acura around here. Then again, probably the GT3s are better. So yeah, the people using the Acura, really, really brave souls. And I think when we did ARL, there were a few people who were using the Acura and did well. I don't know how they did it, but somebody finished 4th in an Acura. He was an absolute.
Did only 3 people finish? That's a real question.
It was a fairly attrition high race, admittedly. It was quite high, but I think he just kept it on the track and was able to just finish in 4th. So fair play to the man. And well, I mean, look who's in 4th right now. The Acura, who I believe was literally in the wall just a few laps ago. Yeah, but oh yeah, they get fast repairs. I think it's 8 fast repairs they get. So yeah, he took that fast repair and has managed to come out in 4th place. So fair play. And well, if they can keep this 4th place, that will be an absolute, honestly, I think a really, really good result considering the car they're in. And well, really odd to see the Cadillac so far behind, considering it is the dominant car around here. Of course, the Cadillac using, I think what Ron described earlier as being like a classic American engine, you know, fast straight line and bad corner. Oh, speaking of bad corners, there's a Porsche going off on the Porsche curves and just about avoiding.
I just saw my life flash before my eyes watching that.
Yeah,
that was close.
That was super, super close there. I'm not sure which Porsche that was, but he just managed to escape death by the skin of his teeth. And, well, I mean, fair play. We've seen that a few times in this split where people are really struggling on the entry of those Porsche curves and can't quite seem to get the hang of it. And there's the Soul Audi just moving out of the way for the Eclipse Racing Esports by Skyline Designs team. And, yeah, the Menges team, Frida Sport Car coming into the pits. And, yeah, oh, he's got damage, I think, there. He possibly clouted... Oh, he's already clouted the wall. He's crabbing quite quite a lot there. And I think as a result of the damage, probably just messed up his entry. Yeah, his whoa, that was fairly realistic actually. Hand it out to iRacing. Yeah, that was really touch and go there. And I'm not sure where he's had his previous incident because he has absolutely clouted the wall somewhere. But now he's gonna get his fast repair. He's got plenty of them to use, so fair play. And well, it was a very scary moment, but am I the only one impressed with those gravel physics? Because that would happen in real life. The fact that he nearly tipped over was absolutely terrifying. But well, the gravel physics may be annoying, but yeah, he's
realism.
Yeah, nearly went over. Can't believe I'm saying.
Yeah, that was. I have a lot to say about that series of events. I think I nearly gave myself I nearly had like 5 panic attacks just watching that Porsche rejoin the track and come within inches of clearing out the Acura there. That was incredibly close. That would have been, I mean, if you're the driver of the Acura and you rejoin the race after taking a fast repair, you're doing well, still running in 4th, and you get taken out by an errant Porsche rejoining the track after nearly flipping in the gravel trap, crabbing like it's no tomorrow. You probably would have just said, you know what, I'm done. It's not my day in the world of sim racing. So, that was, I don't really have much else to say. That was incredibly close, and thankfully we did not just see a horrible that probably would have been an airplane accident if that happened there, made contact with the other Acura there. So fair play on him. It's unfortunate there for the Maguire's team. They're running well in the podium spots. Now they're running in P8 right now. They've rejoined the track, but they're still pretty much hopelessly out of contention of scoring a podium here. Actually, I say hopelessly out of contention. We still have another yellow that'll come in the second half of this race. We're still less than halfway through this race. I can't believe it myself, but there's still another full course yellow that these drivers have to deal with here. In probably a couple hours time. You could probably expect that full course yellow probably around the 6-hour mark, so there's still plenty of things to happen before then, but that probably will be the one saving grace for the Maguire's team. They're going to realize, hey, look, there's still a lot to play for. We're not entirely out of this fight yet. There may be some I think there's probably going to be some wave arounds during the yellow to get all those drivers back on the lead lap. So there's a lot that can happen there. So the Maguires team, despite being down there, definitely not out of it.
Yeah, this is why the full course yellows, honestly, I quite like them in these longer endurance races. It just, one, makes it more realistic, of course, and just allows everyone to get back in the race, which is why when these types of endurance races happen, even if you have a bad start to the race, you don't give up. You know, that you have plenty of opportunities, especially if it's at like the very start. You've got 2 full course yellows to come that neutralizes the field, and if you can stay on the lead lap, you've still got a chance at the win. Honestly, if you've got some decent pace, if you can get the right strategy and have a bit of luck on your side, anything can happen in these types of endurance events. Of course, in iRacing officials, a little bit of a different story. You haven't got those yellows to neutralize a race and just bring everyone back in. So if you do crash in an iRacing official, yeah, it's a bit more tempting to leave because, yeah, you've not really got too much of an opportunity to come back in the race. But yeah, these types of races are really, really good. Not sure if anyone did the Majors 24 earlier this year in this lobby. I did, and then we got taken out by an LMDH going onto the Mulsanne Straight. We were in LMP2. To this day, I don't know why. I wish we were in the BMW, to be honest. But yeah, we were in the LMP2, and we were going fairly well. I think we were fighting for P5 pretty much for most of the race. And yeah, we were having a fairly good race. I went to sleep and yeah, woke up, did my stint, and a BMW tried to send it round the corner coming onto the Mulsanne, which was a very smart move, and he ended up getting a penalty for it. So justice. I'm not Batman, but justice. So yeah, you get your comeuppance eventually. But we got some drivers coming into the pit lane in the GT3 class, the infamous esports Porsche coming in. I think everyone's sort of on a different strategy, as everyone's kind of having a mixed bag of a race. As that's a Cadillac going very, very wide. Not sure if that would have picked up a slowdown there. There's another Cadillac in the pits who's just come back out onto the track. That's the Vermilion racing car. David Ariza Sanchez in the infamous esports car. I think they're doing a driver swap as they come into the pits. And I think, honestly, having 2 drivers just do 4 hours probably makes the most sense around here. That's probably what you'd end up doing in real life. But these 2 guys up the front, the Flanders Racing Team Bravo and Alpha, have been pretty flawless this entire race, to be honest. Not really seen too much action for them. They've kind of just gone into the lead and shot off from everyone else. They've set some really, really good pace. And no, fair play to them. They've just been the stars of the field. And Porsche, who I think the Porsche has a V6, I think. I could be completely wrong. I've been wrong on so many things tonight. Do you know what? I'm going to Google this for once. I'm going to fact check myself. I think the Porsche has a V6.
I think while you Google this, I'll do I'll do some music. I'll give you some kind of harmonic action here to hold us over while you Google this up. So ignore the terrible musical skills, but. I can't do that with a straight face. I apologize to everyone. I apologize to you, Aaron. I apologize to our producer, Jonathan. I apologize to everyone involved with this event. I apologize to everyone watching this on Twitch and YouTube. And I also apologize to every single person in my family that I probably just embarrassed with that.
I think what's more embarrassing for the fact for you is your mic didn't pick up any of it.
Oh no, it didn't?
No.
Are you kidding me? Oh no. I just embarrassed myself for no reason. Let me just prove that on Monica real quick. There you go.
It's still barely. It's your mic suppression trying to like cancel it out because it's like what is going on?
Oh no. Oh. Screw you, Discord. Your audio settings are ruining my thunder.
I think I have my harmonica somewhere as well. I think. Do you want me to go get it? I think it's in my room somewhere. I might have to go. Do you know what? Yeah, hold on. I'll be back.
We'll hold us over. So
let's get the band together.
Yeah. This is This is beautiful here on on Make-A-Wish, and if you want to see some more racing action, we're all part of Apex Racing TV. So if you want to tune into some more iRacing action, regardless of where the racing action comes from, whether it be this style of racing, some endurance racing, some sprint racing, or whether it be some official races on iRacing as well, we've got a lot on Apex Racing TV. May not have as much musical talent, but we do have an eye for calling motorsports events in the world of iRacing. And I believe my colleague Aaron has rejoined us here in the commentary booth and has now picked up his harmonica. So we've got drivers coming into the pits. So could you give us a pit lane song here, Aaron?
I need to remember how to play this. Okay. Wait, hold on. I need to. I don't know if my mic's gonna pick this up as well. Okay. I don't know if that picked up.
Yes, it did. That was. God bless America. That was freaking awesome. Oh boy, I might be able to one up you real quick, Aaron. It's okay if you can hold on to the broadcast for a while as we see some more GTPs coming into the pits. The team Red X 521. I might grab a quick little prop from downstairs real quick and bring it up for the viewers.
It's gonna be like a guitar or something.
It's not going to be a guitar, trust me. I barely make enough money to afford Greek yogurt. I do not have the money for a guitar. So give me 1 second. I will be right back after the messages from my co-anchor here, Aaron.
Well, as Ron goes and gets his mysterious prop from downstairs, I'm genuinely scared what it's going to be. We got some actual battling going on in the GT3 class. No way, we've got the number 69 Crash Dummies in 14th place, just behind the Flanders Racing Team Delta, just in front, as I believe the Flanders Team Racing just about edging ahead, 7/10 ahead, and pretty much the entire field, in the GT3 class using the Ferrari. It is the that's the leader in GCP, who, even though he's just had an issue, is still 30 seconds in the lead, which kind of, just says all you need to know. I believe it was down into Arnage. Is it the classic, I locked up into Arnage, oh no, I've gone too deep? We're about to find out. Is it going to be on the outside curb? Let's see what it was. And it doesn't look like, it does, yeah. No, he did. Completely locked up that right front tyre and went straight on. And, that's very close. I'm not sure which Ferrari that was, who just rejoined in front of him, but that was awfully close for them two. He's still going though, still in the lead by quite a lot, let's be honest, but has ruined that front right tyre and just has to spend a few laps calling it off. As unfortunately, when you lock the tyres in these cars, it does take a few laps to cool them back down again. And going to what I was talking about earlier with the engine debate, I was wrong. The Porsche 963 has a 4.6 litre V8 twin turbo, so I was wrong. Completely and utterly wrong. Again, I do, for a fact, and I don't need to look this up, I believe the Cadillac has a 5.5 litre V8, which is a cross-plane, I think. Whereas the Porsche and the BMW is a flat plane. And the Ferrari as well, but we don't talk about it. The Cadillac is just straight line speed because America. Insert eagle noises here. As it's just big chunky engine, which is what the Americans love to do. And it worked out in real life. They won the IMSA championship and did really well in WEC, considering they were running one car for most of the season and ran two, I believe, at Le Mans. And the Cadillac is proving to be one of the better LMDHs in real life and both on the sim. Let's hope the BOP next season can be a bit more fair to the Porsche, because the Porsche has been fairly decent in real life. It's not been amazing by any stretch of the imagination, but it's been pretty decent. It's just not as bad as iRacing has made it out to be. And of course in WEC next season, we've got the BMW coming as well. So yeah, next season we can pretend we're doing a little bit of WEC as well, since we've got pretty much all of the cars in the World Endurance Championship, apart from the Acura, which technically is going to be the Alpine because they're both using the same chassis. So, and they're using a very similar engine as well. I know that the Acura is using a V6. I know that. I don't need to look this up. I know it's using a V6, and I know the Alpine is going to be using a Mechachrome V6. So that's going to be quite fun to watch. And that's why LMDH has been so popular. And LMH, it's just provided such good racing. We've had it both on sim and in real life. And that's a ambitious pit entry from Brick Motorsports. Coming into the pits, I could tell that from a mile back. He went way too deep into the pits. And I'm not sure what the punishment for that is. I don't know if he'll get a slowdown for something for coming in like that. But either way, he's coming into the pits. And I believe there'll be a driver change, as I think Ron has arrived.
Yes, I have. And sadly for you, I've come back with a clown horn.
Oh my God.
Thankfully for the both of you, I'll only be in here for the next like 10-ish minutes, so I'll be able to I won't be able to honk into the microphone too much. Actually, that could be a good sound. I mean, you said that you could describe the Cadillac V8, the 5.5 liter V8 engine, and that as an eagle roaring. I think the clown horn is a good description of the Acura engine. So just repeatedly, just constantly. So, yeah, this is going off the rails. I think while we're on the discussion of engines, the Cadillac V8 is probably one of the best. I just hear a horn as well, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, the harmonica. Okay, so we might be able to end this broadcast with just a symphony of noises. So on the discussion of American-built motors, there's kind of a stereotype of American engines not being the most efficient engines in the world.
I mean, stereotype is correct.
Yeah, the stereotype is correct. The 5.5 liter V8 in the Cadillac probably produces about 1,000 horsepower. I don't know, I didn't look it up, but it produces a whole lot of horsepower, and those Cadillacs have a lot of get up and go to them. So they are very fast engines, very well designed engines. The same could not be said about the engine in my car. So recently, my dad and I have purchased a 1985 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme from a gentleman in my local neighborhood, and in it is a Buick V6 engine that is 3.8 liters. So it's a fairly large motor, all things considered. There's cars racing in this event, albeit virtually. There's engines in these cars that are smaller than that, so it's a fairly large motor, all things considered.
Ooh, yeah.
Yet the American 80s engineers have managed to extract 110 horsepower out of it, which, considering the motor was built in 1985, that motor is currently producing somewhere in the double digits, so it's probably producing about 90 horsepower currently. So let's just discuss that. Yeah, that's a very bad motor. So, Aaron, do you have any fun quirks about your car? I know you're telling us a story about driving your Ford Fiesta. So, you want to share some stories of that?
Well, I mean, just before I do, going back to American engines for a second, I think Top Gear, they've done a few challenges with like these big American engines, and I think they once had a 7-liter V8 that was like 140 horsepower. How and why? What? Okay, my Ford Fiesta has a 1-liter 3-cylinder EcoBoost with the smallest turbo, and it produces 125 horsepower. How are they even comparable? It makes no sense. A 7-liter V8 with a 1-liter EcoBoost. That is embarrassing for Americans. Don't get me wrong, Americans sometimes make some really good engines, like the one in the Cadillac. I believe it's one of the only naturally aspirated engines in the hypercar field, or not if it is the only one. And also, Ron, just to correct you earlier, 1,000 horsepower. What?
I do not know. I'm not an engineer. I'm only paid to talk about race cars, and even though
Exactly.
I'm a professional loudmouth, I still don't know a lot about race cars. I'm just paid to run my mouth and act like I know what I'm talking about. So that's if I say it if I say it confidently enough that the Cadillac produces 1,000 horsepower, then it produces 1,000 horsepower. We'll use that as American propaganda, saying that it produces 1,000 horsepower. And if anyone would like to correct that claim, please talk to a brick wall, because I'm going to be out of here in about 3 minutes, and I've already been talking for about 4.5 hours, and I don't need to correct myself over.
That's my response.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. The beautiful sultry sounds of the wonderful harmonica. Was your harmonica made in China? Mine was, and I bought it during 2020, so I was really worried that I was going to get the vid when I purchased that harmonica.
Let me check. I actually don't know. Does it say? I'm not looking right now. I don't think it says anywhere where it was made. Oh no, yeah it does. Yeah, made in China. Never mind. Okay. Damn. Okay. I'm sad. I thought my harmonica was more special than that, but no, never mind.
Mine has various symbols on the box, like Chinese symbols. It looks like the logo that you'd see in a Chinese buffet inside some kind of strip mall in the Midwest. So that's Swan harmonica. I purchased this on eBay because my brother had given me like a $25 eBay gift card for my birthday, which is strange, I guess would be the correct term. It's a very strange gift, but I have cherished this harmonica ever since. Was it a stupid purchase? Yes. Do I regret it?
No. Yeah, that's basically how I felt. I remember the reason I bought it is because me and my friends were in a Discord. Cool, that's a Ferrari going very wide into turn 1, and this could actually be the start of a battle. Oh, the Ferrari behind just gets very loose on the exit there, and unfortunately, he just couldn't make the best of that situation. But yeah, I bought this harmonica because me and my friends were just joking in a Discord, and one of them started playing a harmonica, and I was like, I want to do that. So I bought one off Amazon for about 15 quid. It's called Blues Deluxe, and it sounds absolutely amazing. It comes in quite a posh case. It's got like red velvet on the inside. It's nice. It came with like a one of those like cleaner thing, whatever you call it. You know the thing you get when you like get glasses to clean, whatever they're called.
Yeah, the little like fabric sort of like
Yeah,
patches with a weird like
yeah.
crisscross pattern on the outside. I don't know if they only have those in
Yeah.
America. It makes it
No,
feel
yeah,
fancier.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it came with. So I guess if I mean, I think the top is some kind of metal, so you know, fingerprints get on it very easily. So yeah, I have to clean it every now and then, and I think it's just been sitting in my drawer for months. And then you said the word harmonica, and I was like, oh, I have one. No way, I'm gonna play it for you guys. And I played the only song I can play on it, which I believe is a Billy Joel song. So
I believe that's
Piano Man.
Yeah, Piano Man.
Yes,
So it's
yes.
I'm not very well versed in the musical sphere. My singing skills are terrible. My musical skills are terrible. I once had a drum kit that my dad bought me when I was 8, and I sold that a few years ago, and probably used that money to buy stuff on iRacing. I hear you joking, Aaron. Ignore that voice crack. So I think we might be coming to a crossroads here as our comms box is filling up here. We've now been doing this race for about 4 hours. We're coming up at 3 hours and 55 minutes into this 8-hour race here. We started this broadcast all the way back at 9:30, and even with a technical hiccup that we had halfway through, it's been a wonderful stint of racing. We've raised a lot of money. I'll take a look one last time. I believe we're either close to it or have already broken our goal. We have already broken it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have broken our latest goal of $17,000 raised for Make-A-Wish through this event. It's been a wonderful event to call here on Make-A-Wish International, and it's been wonderful to call it with you, Aaron, and Sam, who is also in here, who I believe will be taking over the reins here in the not-too-distant future. It's been wonderful, and Aaron, do you have any parting words before we round off this part of the broadcast and switch over to part 2? I believe he may be
Seemingly
speechless. Oh.
The anticlimactic
He's at a loss for words right now. That or his computer just
Sorry.
crashed. Oh, there we go. He's alive. Ladies and gentlemen, the resurrection has just happened. Aaron Smith, or Pierre Smith, as I should call him, is back. All right, so Pierre, how have you thought of this race? What do you think of this event? And you have any parting thoughts with the viewers?
Well, Split 3 has been interesting to say the least. We've got 2 Porsches leading, which is strange. We have an Acura in third, which is also very strange. And then we have no BMWs left at all, none whatsoever. I don't even think we had any BMWs to begin with. So Split 3, ladies and gentlemen, quite weird, but very interesting. I meant BMW GT3s, not GT3s. There are plenty of GT3 BMWs left. No, actually, I'm wrong. There's only one left. Does Split 3 just hate BMW? There's one BMW, and this is the only one. It's the only GT3 left. Oh, you got to feel bad. The only lone.
Here's what I think. Here's my theory as to why Bottom Split may not like the BMWs. I think there's the running joke of the BMWs having to get a microtransaction to use your heated seats option in your car. I think that could be the reason why these drivers have opted to avoid the BMW at all costs. They just don't have the money to pay for the heated seats. So maybe that could be the reason why. Who knows? I'm not an expert in anything, even the stuff I'm paid to talk about. But it's yeah, the surprising lack of BMWs, certainly in GTP. I'm not really a fan of the GTP BMW. It looks like it's a vacuum cleaner of some kind.
Yes.
It's I think at Daytona 24 earlier on in this year, there's some running jokes of them having to reach into the grills and like pick up beer cans and stuff like that that the fans were throwing onto the track. That just it just sucks it up onto the road. So yeah, we're gonna ignore that sound effect. We're not gonna speak about that on record. But there's been racing action throughout all the splits. Split 3 hasn't been the most exciting in the world, but it's a race of attrition, you could say here. We're in for the long haul here. The yellow flag that we had here in Split 3 was quite a few hours ago, so the field is spread out quite well. But meanwhile, in some of the other splits, Split 1 had a restart not a few moments ago, as did Split 2. So they're quite close right now. And when we pass off the reins here in a couple of moments' time, I'm sure the next batch of commentators who will take you all to the checkered flag of this wonderful event, the first of hopefully many charity events here with Make-A-Wish on iRacing. They'll take you to the checkered flag. I'm sure there's plenty to play for. We've still got 3 full course yellows, 1 for each split, and we've still got some winners and podium finishers to be decided. So we've got a lot to play for here in the next 4.5 hours. It's been a joyride covering it so far, and I'm really running out of vocal cords to use. I'm running out of a lot of things. I'm running out of brain cells. I only have 1 brain cell. I usually rent some from Hertz Rent a Brain Cell whenever I need to do these broadcasts. So yeah, I think it's been a joyride. We've had harmonica solos. We've had clown horn usages, discussions about potatoes. There's been a lot of things that we've touched on this broadcast, and also one thing that we've been doing throughout all of it is raising a ton of money for a very good cause. We've now broken $17,000, as I said, and the wonderful viewers on YouTube, on Twitch, regardless of where you're watching this stream from in the world, it's been a joyride, and I believe we might be getting some I might be getting a message here soon to tell me to wrap things up, but I think to round this off before I get the other word that I should keep my mouth shut, it's been a personal privilege of mine to cover this series. Make-A-Wish is a wonderful organization, and as someone who I like to consider myself to be a person who cares about young children, and I know if any of my siblings, if any of my nieces or nephews were ever going through something, I'm sure Make-A-Wish would be there to provide them with a wonderful childhood and many wonderful things that Make-A-Wish does for children all over the world. They grant many wishes to many children worldwide, and it's a wonderful organization, and I'm very happy that we've been able to raise a lot of money for it, and it's wonderful seeing the world of sim racing unite and raise a heck of a lot of money for a wonderful cause, and it's just, I don't really know what else to say. It kind of brings a tear to my eye in a sense, seeing the amount of money that we've raised. It's wonderful using sim racing for a good cause. I'm sure you feel the same, Aaron.
I'd be a really horrible human being if I didn't, to be honest. I don't know who wouldn't want an amazing cause like this. Two really good things, sim racing and raising money for charity, combining to make something truly rememberable across all 3 splits, both for us, because we're losing our minds, and for all, I believe you said, about 140 teams, which is ridiculous and amazing at the same time. It's so much fun to see so many people coming together for this amazing event, and we've got fantastic racing going on pretty much across all the splits. Split 3, of course, is just slowing down a little bit, but yeah, split 1, once we get back to it eventually, is going to be tons of fun to watch. But just on your brain cells that you were talking about, I think my favourite saying to go along with it is you've only got 2 brain cells left and they're fighting for 3rd place. So, yeah.
Amen.
You go rest your brain while I torture Sam for the next 2 hours. Sam is so excited to spend more time with me, aren't you, Sam?
Yeah. So, how's the I'm very pleased. So thank you, Ron, for doing a mighty shift there. I've had a couple of hours off.